So it reduces spin at the impact, but once you started spinning, it maintains better than less moment inertia golf ball. So less spin at the impact, but after apex, it's already like 2,500 or maybe 10,000 spin. But after apex, it doesn't want to lose spin. It maintains. So less decay of spin helps golf ball keep in the air longer and also consistent.
We're going to have Steve Stack come up and sort of help moderate a little bit of Q&A. Any questions that you guys have? I think, Stack, you have a couple you want to throw out.
I know, kind of talked about most of the stuff outside, how we go about testing the golf balls with the players and what the process is. If anyone has any questions on that, how we introduce it to them, how we test. With all the modern equipment we have, with the launch monitor, it's mostly there to verify what these guys see on the golf course. Again, go ahead.
So, what's the typical process when a player comes in to change the golf ball? Where do you work on it? Do you work on it in Fort Worth or at the tournament site? And you mentioned these two guys changed that week. Were they the only ones who did that?
No, we've had, as far as the staff, that has changed.
The same week that they tested.
It depends on when we get the ball and when we meet with the player. A lot of times we do like to do the testing in Fort Worth, where we have a lot more control over the setting. Out on tour, it can get a lot of very crazy. There's media out there wanting to see what we're doing. There's other manufacturers, but it can be done either way. We first like to go out on a range, wherever it is, with the TrackMan and get whatever their launch conditions are with the golf ball that they're currently playing. And then we'll match up with the new golf ball, make sure that it is everything we said it is, make sure that it meets their expectations with ball speed, spin, and launch angle. Then they take it out on the golf course. We'll typically walk with them, answer any questions they might have for us, and then let them take it out in a couple of practice rounds and come back to us and give us any feedback that we need to hear. And that's normally how it first starts, and then we'll try to dial it in after that.
So in this particular case, these two guys tested ARIA version of this product in September, and without telling them switching right away, but give them kind of chance to experience. And then with AK, it was Shanghai. I walked through 18 holes, and Francesco 9 holes, and we just exchanging information and get some number and input. And then he switched, AK switched right away, and Francesco was Maui. So there's always kind of heads up moment.
Other players, just to finish on your question, that have switched. Stephen Ames wasn't in the field at Maui this year, but he vacations there. So I met with him. He had received a couple dozen golf balls. We didn't have any TrackMan with us, but we do this enough, and it's just not bragging. We can see the launch conditions very similar to what the TrackMan tells us. So we use that to verify. So walked a few holes with Stephen out on the golf course in Kaanapali. Saw that he was playing the X ball, gave him the S ball to test, and worked with him that way, and then let him decide. And, one other condition that also comes into play is when it gets cold. Players, are bundled up. The wall speed doesn't get as high as it normally is when it's nice and warm like it was today. And you'll find out through testing like that, when we were in Phoenix this year, it was down to 38 degrees when we were there. I was walking with Stephen Ames, and we found out the golf ball, the X that he was playing, he was not getting enough spin with the driver. Just wasn't carrying out with the driver, so we put him into an S to hit a couple of shots, and he gained the yardage he was losing right away.
I think you have to.
Yeah, is this ball tour specific, or can the average hack benefit from these characteristics?
I think less spin off the tee, which is great for distance, and you can still experience like tour level spin around the green. So it's perfect for. But concept is competitive golfer. It's not like distance seeker, but single handicap players.
But I think one of the other things, the this is the first application of this technology. And Rock and his team have been working on a lot of different future applications of this that will have benefits for really a wide range of golfers.
A couple questions. Is that the DuPont resin
Yes,
that's in there?
it is.
Okay. And is it 4 years in development with them?
4.5.
Uh-huh.
And this material itself is exclusive. for
To
that
proprietary
price.
to DuPont, right? That's the HFP resin?
It's not
Yes.
HPF,
Okay.
similar material.
Okay.
but
Dimple count,
360, newly designed.
depth and circumference?
Well, both ball has same depth at this moment.
Okay. And relative compression between the X and S?
It's 80. Gosh, I should remember. I don't use active compression, as you know. I use a different unit.
Right.
I think it was 86 and 82. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead. For the players, how much anxiety is there changing golf balls, and how long does it take you to get to the point of, okay, that's the ball, and I'm going to go from there?
Well, personally, it's hard for me to want to change golf balls. It's easier for me to change a driver or a wedge or a putter than it is golf ball. Just because of the fact that you have to use it on different shots, and you can't try every shot before you switch over. Especially when I was trying the ball at HSBC, I really only had 18 holes to get used to it. But I figured I needed to change. The ball was going further. It felt soft around the greens, and I felt like if anything, after the groove change, the balls were running out too much on my 40 to 50 yard shots. So I was willing to take that risk of going with it. But there's so many shots you have to try. Unfortunately, I've hit behind a lot of